Is Kyrie Irving being immature in this situation?
Why would he care, by the way? Like basically what he's saying is we're so much better. I mean, it doesn't affect me.
I'll waste my time.
What are you talking about?
He did say he got to play on LeBron's team, which is me just picking a little something to be weird about. But anyway, answer the question.
Is Kyrie being immature? The answer is yes. I mean, look, you go radio silent. There's a pin toss over there. If you go radio silent, man, that's just an immature move.
That's not immature. So everyone who's watching now and listening, and you, at some point today, we'll all get a phone call that we will press ignore on because you don't feel like talking to them. And I don't think that's immature. I think that's mature. And especially when you're angry with someone or you're upset, or he pays someone, he pays an agent to be his liaison between them. He does not need to answer the call. And if he is angry and upset with the organization shopping him during the draft, which has been reported, then maybe he's afraid of what he might say. What's more immature? You being mature enough to ignore the call, or you answering the phone and then hitting them with a tirade about how awful they are and how upset you are with them? I think he's making the mature decision right now. He's handled this as well as anyone could expect up until this point. He went behind closed doors, as I know you would like. He didn't leak this information. He went behind closed doors and said, I want to get traded. They could not do it. And now someone else leaked that information, and we can all debate who did and who didn't. And he is not responding to it publicly. He's not responding to it privately, and that's his right. That's not immature.
Your blatant attempt to rope the audience into your side debate by saying everyone will press ignore at some point today.
I will. Won't you?
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, he's wrong because that's not what Kyrie's done. We're not talking about whether or not you ever hit ignore on a phone call. We're not talking about
You don't ignore the same person all the time?
It's about when you ignore everyone at your employer. The implication here is that Kyrie has gone radio silent to the entire Cavs organization. Not that he's not taking LeBron's call or Kobe's call, the new GM, Altman. It's not that he's like not talking to one or two people. He's gone total radio silence to the Cavs organization, his employer, about what is amounted to a complete and utter bomb in their offseason. That is immature. Yes, look, you can be right in parts of your argument, Dominique, and add up to wrong in the end. You're right. It's good to control your anger. It's good to avoid situations where you might not be able to. But if you find yourself in a situation where you are at such odds with your employer as an institution that you can't talk to anyone there, set aside the personalities, the individuals in it, you can't talk to anyone calling from whatever the area code is in Cleveland, then you are being immature because you're not capable of controlling your own emotions. Now, I don't know if this is why Kyrie's doing it. I'm making a leap here based off the report that McMenamin is saying he's not talking to anyone in the Cavs organization. And if he's chosen that path to go down, yeah, that's an immature path. When have you ever said a player's done something wrong, man? Like, what is it?
I am unapologetically honest about my biases. The problem is so many other people around here are not honest about their biases. I have a player-leaning bias, and that's fine, and I'm proud of it. And I will rain down judgment on all the former players who do not have a player-leaning bias. But I think that this is a reasonable argument. This is not crazy. Does he or does he not have an agent?
I assume he does, yes.
What is the agent's responsibility?
He can take those calls.
Call your agent. Don't call me, because when they want to negotiate...
But he has a job. But you have an agent.
Right.
Are you telling me if ever something goes wrong for you here at ESPN, any number with a Bristol, Connecticut area code on, you're going to screen it?
Yeah. If I have a problem with the people that are calling me and it's something that I believe my agent should handle, trade request is something your agent should handle. If I have an issue and it's something I believe my agent can handle or should handle, it is proper to have a third party intermediate that situation. You know what will be irresponsible is if I get on that call and I start making my own demands and yelling about this or that, like, I hate working with Will Kane, don't ever let me work with Will Kane again. I would tell my agent to handle that. I would not call the people who run First Take and first of all, don't you ever put me near Will Kane, I hate his guts.
First of all, I don't actually think that's true.
I hate Will Kane? No, I don't. It's not.
No, not that part. That you would have your agent intermediate for us. I think that you would.
I did have my agent intermediate for us. Actually,
as you're saying
in actuality,
I'm remembering how this reconciliation happened.
Our first interaction, we had legitimate, real beef, not TV beef, and I did not contact you immediately after because I was like, yeah, he's actually angry. But then, a couple weeks later, I said to my agent, like, I think Will hates me. Why don't you set up a meeting? And we set up a meeting.
And did I hate you?
No,
come on.
I mean, it's based on a lot of jealousy, but it happens.
No, here's the thing.
So yes, the answer is yes. You asked me a question. You never ask a question you don't know the answer to. And you asked a question that you didn't know the answer to.
As it was coming out of my mouth, I remembered the text from your agent. But here's the thing. You ultimately chose the path of what I think is a sign of being a man. And forgive me for the reduction of that sort of compliment, but you grow up a boy, your dad teaches you a certain way to be a man, and that is to confront those you have problems with, to confront those you have disagreement with. You ultimately chose that path,
right,
and I totally and utterly respect you for that. You may have had your agent make the initial reach out, but what you wanted to do is say, we've got what appears to be a problem. Let's have a sit down, let's have a talk. And that earns, by the way, that earns my respect, much less it put you on a good path going forward. That's what I think Kyrie's avoiding here, and that's the path he needs to go down. Confront your problems.